Hello, dear learners. I once again welcome you all to yet another interesting module which is called Essentials of Written Professional Communication. In the previous modules, we have learned about the importance of communicating through English in the 21st century as well as the importance of skills, including communication skills, which are required in the 21st century workplaces. As you must have learned by now, functional English refers to the application aspect of the English language with particular focus on communication skills. In our day-to-day activities, whether we are meeting a stranger, giving presentations before an audience, or simply writing emails, functional English provides the key communication skills. A knowledge of functional English, therefore, also has certain benefits as it gives confidence to the speaker to speak and write English effortlessly, spread ideas effectively, besides increasing his or her proficiency in communication. In this module, we shall discuss some of the essential skills of communicating through writing. We must understand the fact that the main objective of any professional writing in any business setting is to communicate a message. Many people fail in meeting this objective while writing letters, memos, or reports because often they are not written for the intended readers. Unlike other written materials, context-specific written correspondence must clearly convey its message, preferably on the very first reading. So, by the end of this module, we shall learn that effective written communication in a profession requires some skills. We shall also be able to use English in a way that the readers or audience will understand the message without any difficulty. We shall also learn some of the essential skills of written professional communication. Now, let us quickly look at the importance of writing in a professional setting. Writing is one of the most essential activity in any profession or business because it is through writing a business enterprise presents itself to the public. It is also the means by which individuals in a profession communicate. Hence, writing is the yardstick that we use to evaluate an employee's performance. But despite the fundamental role of writing in any profession, writing is also something we fear. In many instances, writing takes too long and the final product does not meet the efforts made. Therefore, we need to understand the principles and skills of better writing in order to succeed in a job or a profession. Dear friends, as you know, in a professional setting, the first audience is people within that setting. Some might be full-time employees writing letters, reports, proposals, documents, and so on. Others might write as part of their job but may not consider themselves full-time writers. They might also include those employees such as administrative assistants, accountants, managers, supervisors, engineers, researchers, system programmers, marketers, product developers, and so on. Some might also be university students, either in an undergraduate or postgraduate level, or simply graduates. If you imagine yourselves to be a part of that motley group, you will perhaps need to learn about the basic principles of writing that could help you to write better. But one thing is clear, that writing is important in business. Poor writing slows down the communication process, causes confusion, and encourages more mistakes. Most businesses are burdened with paperwork. We often see that reports are too long, memos are too frequent, correspondences are too boring. When the writing is not only lengthy but filled with innumerable mistakes, poorly organized, and unclear, it becomes a hindrance rather than a tool for doing business. In the 21st century information age, written information, whether in hard copy or in electronic form, is quite common. For example, product documents, product brochures, test reports, all these represent 21st century business world. Writing also serves to establish and maintain an employee's role within an organization, company, or agency. The impression formed of you as a worker, especially by the higher officers who are not in your immediate work setting, are often based on what you write. Yet, the importance of writing is often neglected. Even today, many employees feel uncomfortable with their writing and they feel that their writing is weak and that they really need to brush up on the principles of good and effective writing. So, one thing is clear, that writers need a special language to work with, special techniques for editing written languages, and special concepts for understanding what makes writing clear, forceful, and effective. Besides, in the 21st century, people are really very busy and they don't have enough time to seriously study long applications or letters or spend time looking for the meaning of obscure words that you write. Therefore, before starting to write, it is always important to ask yourself the question, who is the reader for this particular letter? Edward Smith and Stephen Barnhart, in their book called Professional Writing Skills for People on the Job, refers to 6 principles for developing a clear, strong professional writing style. According to them, writing should be appropriate to the situation. Then, writing should be grammatically correct. Writing should use punctuation marks to show what is and what is not important. Writing should use a clear and concise vocabulary. Writing should be appropriately written in active voice rather than in passive voice. Writing should emphasize what is important and downplay what is not. I hope these 6 principles will help you to develop your writing skills. Now, let us discuss some of the important skills of written professional communication. We shall go one by one. The first skill that we all should keep in mind is always remember that your reader should understand your English without any difficulty. Let us begin with an example. Suppose you are a doctor and you have performed some tests on a particular patient. At the end of each completed test, you must send a written report to the patient along with a copy to the family doctor of the patient. Would you send the same report to both of them? Many of us would in fact do the same. Here, one of these readers is familiar with medical terminologies, while the other may be terrified even by having a look at it. In professional or business correspondences, this happens all the time. Then, perhaps you know of the term called jargons. Jargon is a set of words, phrases, or initials whose meaning is automatically known to people within a specialized and homogeneous group. This may be a profession, an industry, a company, a political or religious association, or any other group. Often, jargon is the most effective way of communicating within a group. A problem arises, however, when we step outside that group, as the outside world might not understand our special inside language. So, We can assume that one of the main barriers of effective written communication is the inappropriate use of jargons. Let us quickly see some examples of jargon. How many of them do you understand? 1. Dust jacket. 2. Laparoscopy. 3. Full bleed. 4. Nav. Now look at the meanings of these jargons. A person related to the printing press or a printer will know what dust jacket is. They will know that dust jacket is the removable paper cover that protects a hardcover book. Similarly, a doctor or surgeon will know that laparoscopy is a type of surgical procedure that allows a surgeon to access the inside of the abdomen and pelvis without having to make large incisions in the skin. Third, in printing, when the ink goes right to the edge of the paper, it's called full bleed. Now the fourth jargon, that is NAV. NAV, N-A-V, NAV means net asset value, which is a common term in banking and finance. So, next time when you use a term specific to your group, better ask yourself if you can reasonably be expected to understand that term. If not, find a way to say it in a plain and easy language. While writing a letter to a particular person, you need to focus on the message your letter should convey. Then, make every word, every sentence, and every paragraph work together towards that specific goal. Similarly, if you can, just for a moment, get into your reader's mind and find out what that person needs to know. You can actually write a letter that conveys appropriate information in appropriate language. The second skill that we should be adopting for effective written communication is adopting a pleasant tone. When we think of tone, we usually think of a sound such as made by the human voice. But from the tone, we also know if someone is being polite or sarcastic or amused or angry. In writing too, tone is just as important. Even in writing, the words that we use should speak clearly on the printed page or the computer screen. Perhaps you have heard the expression, "You get more flies with honey than with vinegar." It means that it is a good idea to be nice to others. You can win over other people more easily by being polite and kind. Being mean or unpleasant is like having full of vinegar. You will send more people away by acting sour or bitter. Let's take the following words. If we utter words like blame, fault, careless, failure, inferior, negligence, penalty, complaint, etc., these are all vinegar words that will always have a bitter, that will always look sour or bitter. Then other sets of words like please, thank you, appreciate, understand, agree, excellent, service, value, etc. may be called honey words. When we use this type of words, we can always attract more and more people towards us. People will not feel bad when they hear these honey words. Try reading these words aloud and think about how you would use them in a speech or then in writing. When we use the vinegar words, we automatically set up a negative environment in the reader's mind, and the response is also likely to be negative. Whereas the opposite is true when we use honey words. If I utter a sentence before you, Ramesh did not attend the meeting last week, what would you think? You would probably take it at face value and feel that Ramesh wasn't at the meeting, or he did not attend the meeting. Here, we may be judgmental. However, if I instead say, Ramesh failed to attend the meeting last week, wouldn't that change your perspective? Don't you think that both sentences have different meanings and connotations? That suggests that Ramesh should have been there in the meeting, and the fact that he wasn't implies a failure of some kind which may be considered or excused. So the third skill that we may talk about is choosing the right words and the right structure for the audience. To write effectively in a professional life, you must be proficient in the use of words, sentences, and paragraphs. So, while writing, 5 things will matter. Use the right word in the right place. Number 1. Number 2. Simple words highlight your message more. Number 3. Cut out the insignificant words. Number 4. Learn that the sentence is the driver of a message. Number 5. The paragraph needs to be treated as a unit of thought. Dear friends, there are 3 basic steps to develop your writing competency. First, become familiar with basic grammar. English grammar is very logical. If your grammar or syntax are incorrect, you may well be saying something other than what you intended. Grammar refers to the rules of a language governing the sounds, words, sentences, and the other elements, as well as their combinations and interpretations. While syntax is the arrangements or order of words determined by both the writer's style and grammar rules. Consider the following sentences. For example, the first sentence, I won almost £1 million in the lottery. Then the second sentence, I almost won £1 million in the lottery. Try to find out how a different syntax makes different meaning in these sentences. Many excellent books on grammar are available to provide more ideas on the use of syntax. Even in the internet, such information is easily to be found. So you may quickly look at them when you feel confused. Secondly, please work on the techniques to make your writing not only grammatically correct, but also clear, concise, and interesting. And third, we can always practice writing. So these are the 3 steps with the help of which we can develop our writing competency. However, there is also a problem of pairs of words that look similar and they appear to have the same meanings, but they don't. At times, they mean totally different things. Business writers often confuse these words, which play havoc with meaning. Try yourself the following commonly confused pairs. The first pair is eminent and imminent. Second, compliment and compliment. Third, apprised and appraised. Fourth, ensure and insure. Fifth, further and further. Here are some sentences to illustrate how the words are to be used. Now look at the sentences. A large number of eminent persons attended the meeting. Here, eminent means prominent or powerful. The president's speech suggests that an election call is imminent. Here, imminent means about to happen. If you look at the second pair, the new sofa set complement the furnishing of the room. Here, complement means to go together with. Thank you for your gracious compliment. Here, a compliment is a positive comment. We shall now look at the third pair. As a technology consultant, you should keep your clients apprised of the latest software. Here, apprised means informed, whereas I should have my jewelry appraised for insurance purpose. Here, appraised means valued. So this way, you can go on searching for the pairs of words which almost sounds similar, but they are different in meaning. If you use these or any other words incorrectly in your business writings, it does terrible things to your credibility. Here, a good dictionary can help you a lot. So, keep a dictionary near you and use it whenever you are in doubt about either the spelling or meaning of words which look similar or which sound similar. Then the fourth skill that we should be having is choosing the right words and the right structure. Dear learners, while writing, we should form a habit of cutting out those words which are less significant. This is important because in common cases, a 2-page letter can be reduced to 1 page if we know how not to say things which are unnecessary. We often use wordy phrases and jargons when we write something. The same applies to all fields of professions. Therefore, when we can use a single word instead of a phrase without losing any meaning, we may choose one word. Let's take the following examples. Proceeding in a westerly direction. On a daily basis. 27 years of age. Red in color. Table number 11. Read these words aloud and see where the problem lies. Can we have less number of words to express the meaning in this, express the same meaning? Another common problem is the use of phrases containing redundant words. One example may be new breakthrough. Have we ever heard of an old breakthrough? The word breakthrough itself stands on its own and its meaning is clear. Let's take another example. Look at the sentence. The other side of that is past history. Now, history is by definition past. You don't need to define it again. If we look at another sentence like this, and what about the honest truth? Is there any other kind of truth? Think about it. Let's take yet another example. It's called, we often tend to use the word very unique. It doesn't mean unusual. It means there is only one. So something cannot be very unique, somewhat unique, rather unique, or even quite unique. So something is either unique or it's not. So be careful when you use the word unique next time. Now, regarding the structure, to express your message clearly, concisely, and with no room for misunderstanding, we may follow the following points. For the most part, write in the active voice. The voice has to do with whether the subject of the sentence is the person or thing taking the action, or the person or thing being written about. Sentences like, the chairman made a great speech, the chairman made a great speech, or the public relation officer explained the matter well, carry forward the meaning effectively. Then, write grammatically correct and well-crafted sentences which shall make a positive impact on the minds of the readers. Third, make your verbs the powerful tools they should be. For example, I have written 3 books carries more power than I am the writer of 3 books. Then, use specific words rather than those that leave interpretation up to the reader. Too many letters contain, for example, words and phrases such as report, document, handles, fix, deal with, etc. Each one of them can be understood in different ways depending on the context of use. Lastly, complex sentences hide the actual meaning. Therefore, always try to use simple sentences when you write something. If we look at the paragraph, while writing a paragraph, we should note the following. The key sentence sets the scene, telling the reader what the paragraph is all about. The next 2 or 3 sentences provide support for the key sentence statement. Finally, the concluding sentence brings the meaning full circle and emphasizes the key. Then the 5th skill is having a strategy while presenting. An effective presentation requires a roadmap. Setting your objectives, knowing your audience, and planning your approaches are part of the strategy. In the bygone days, only the managers and executives made presentations. Today, that has changed. People at all levels are expected to be able to present their ideas and plans competently and enthusiastically to various types of audiences, both within the organization and outside. Thus, to have career success today, it's not enough just to do your job well, but you must be seen to do it well. One way of raising your visibility is to make effective presentations, and for that too, you must be having a strategy. Dear friends, every presentation is an opportunity to advance your career. Everyone in the room comes to your presentation with his or her expectations. You have no control over other people's expectations, but you can be very clear about your own. If you don't know what you want to achieve, you can't do an effective job of planning your presentation. Ask yourself why you are giving the presentations. What is your purpose? What do you want your audience to know, to understand, to feel, and to do at the end of it? Who your audience is should govern how you present your material. So, one of your first talks will be to analyze the group to whom you will be presenting. Are they part of my organization or outsiders? Do they have the technical knowledge of my topic? The answer to these questions will tell you whether you can speak in tongues or whether you must omit all forms of jargons, whether you should be using technical words or just give them surface information. The right presentation to the wrong people is the wrong presentation. A bored audience makes for an ineffective presentation. Therefore, you need to come up with new slants and new emphasis so that the audience is not feeling bored. Can you raise their level of interest by involving them in some way in your presentation rather than just talking to them? Addressing 500 people in an auditorium is quite different from a small group meeting in a conference room. Are they my seniors, juniors, or peers? These are all questions that can affect what you say as well as how you say it. Then, the next skill is planning your approach. Poor arrangement of content while you are giving presentation is one of the most common reasons for a failed presentation. Presenters are often tempted to tell the audience everything they know about the subject, and there are 2 problems with this. First, too much information will overwhelm listeners and they will simply switch off. Second, so much material is extremely difficult to organize, so it can easily overwhelm the presenter too. So we come to the end of this module. From this module, we have learned that writing is one of the most essential skills in any profession or business, and we need to learn those skills related to effective written communication. Using words and sentences that the reader could understand without a difficulty, adopting a pleasant tone, choosing the right words and structure, having a strategy before presenting something in writing, planning your approach before writing are some of the most essential skills of effective written communication. Visualizing your reader and thinking about his or her information needs, and also creating a positive environment in your reader's mind through the positive words or the honey words you choose. Anyone can be very effective in written communication. As you progress to the next modules, we shall come up with some other very important aspects of functional English like language and literary skills, English for specific purposes and language skills, and English as academic lingua franca. So, see you again. Till then, bye.